welcome today. I'm Lloyd Jones, Sun Sports Editor, and today I'm unveiling a new show, and I've got the best guest. So stay tuned, sit back, enjoy yourself. Welcome to Distance is Your Friend. So today I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Greg Lagios, who's going to talk, a canine behavior specialist, canine behavior practitioner. And Greg, they say there's such a thing as man's best friend. You're dog's best friend in my book. I mean, I marvel at what you're able to do, my friend.
Thank you very, very much. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit about canine behavior.
Yeah, and I mean, let's just talk a little bit about your background. You just completed a master and doctorate-like in behavior practitioner education at the James O'Hare's Companion Animal Science and Technology Institute.
That is correct.
Not many people do that. I think you're one of 50 in the world.
There's a combination of designations like in any industry, and this is a very advanced technical education. Canine behavior and science technologist by Dr. James O'Hare. He's my mentor, he's my professor.
Where's he based out of?
He is out of Canada.
Is he? Oh.
And he's world renowned. He's written a number of books, and he's very well liked in the canine industry. And that designation, along with what's called CBCC-KA, which is an advanced technical certification as well, are two designations that less than 50 people on planet Earth have. So I'm very, very proud of that because I've been studying nonstop for 15 years.
Has it been that long? Oh
and what we're taught, we go out and practice in what we call applied settings, which basically is continued research and working in the field.
Really? Oh my gosh. So do you have to take a test, or is it something, or just multiple hours and just
thank you
nonstop instruction?
Thank you for asking. It is thousands of books.
Is it?
It's thousands of hours in the field. It is many tests and many certifications.
Oh my gosh.
When it's all said and done. I'm a big believer in advanced education when it comes to our beloved animals and how to change behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I just marvel. You're a constant learner, because I think you're gonna expand on this and go even further, aren't you?
I am. I'm going to get into what's called the neurosciences. So neuroscience, cognitive neuroscience, neurobiology. Just going to continue to deepen and widen my skill set. I think it's fascinating to work with humans and bring about behavior change for them. I think it's fascinating to bring about behavior change for canines.
Yeah, and you're also a certified behavior canine consultant with knowledge assessed from the CCPT-DT?
Correct.
Which is shortened to CBCC-KA?
Correct. That is one of the leading global standard organizations bringing about regulation and certification and continued education. That's one of the designations I achieved through that organization too that I referenced.
Now, I think it's a bit of a myth, Greg, that people think, I'm going to be a dog trainer. Today I'm going to be a dog trainer. And they just don't do a whole lot of research. They just put the little shield up on their door and say, I'm a dog trainer, come see me. And that may not be the best path for anyone looking to get their dog
I actually
help.
appreciate you bringing that up, because love the fact that somebody wants to become a dog trainer, and it always starts with reading a book, and I hope that they continue on. What we see across the globe is people will pick up a book or two and not continue to pursue it, meaning a deep education, and call themselves a dog trainer. So I and many of my colleagues are all about the science behind behavior and continued education. So the client, the student, the person in their home that would like a private consultation needs to be a little bit careful with who they're talking to. It's important to interview them, qualify them, and learn about the education, learn about the certifications.
Yeah, and you've got more than 30,000 field hours
I
working
do.
hands-on with canines.
I do.
I marvel at that.
I appreciate that. And that's where it all began for me. My wife and I are very blessed. We retired from corporate America in 2008.
What did you do in another world, dare I ask?
In another world, we were in the early days of hardware and software for the internet.
Were you really?
We were.
I never knew that.
And worked for a couple of startups that grew into monster companies. So we're very, very blessed. And when we retired, we moved to the Lakes region, and we went down to the local dog and cat shelter. My wife went left to the cats, and I went right to the dogs. I walked my first dog and realized that I didn't know anything about canines, and picked up my first book.
Did you really?
Exactly, because I wanted to learn a lot about it, and that just grew into 15 years later with this enormous education and passion for dogs.
I mean, it's just a love. I can see it.
I love dogs.
Yeah.
Love them, and I love humans too. It's amazing to bring about change for the human and the dog.
Yeah. Have you always grown up with dogs, did you, or?
Just as a little boy,
Yeah.
but not when we got a little older and went off into college and out into a career.
You remember your first dog?
I sure do.
What was your first dog?
First dog's name was Mitzi.
Mitzi?
Lived to be 15 years old, a free roamer, would look left, look right before they crossed the road, and just a beautiful dog growing up. It was
Really?
more my mom and dad's dog, but as children, you come to love the other family member that has a lot of fur.
I think we all do. So, you're involved with shelters, which I love that. I mean, I love the phrase helping to find canines their forever home.
Correct.
And then, you had that initial experience at the shelter, and it just kind of blossomed from there?
Yeah,
or?
great question. It started with an initial volunteer walk with the dog, and then diving into books, and then reaching out to organizations and world-renowned trainers, and getting
Is that a difficult pathway to connect with these trainers? Or?
No, not this day and age.
They're very
I did it
receptive?
all on my own in the beginning, and just by reaching out, you come to find out that these well-educated, esteemed people are just ordinary human beings who have a love for dogs too. So I was very, very blessed to find the right mentors and the right educational programs, and working in the shelters led me from that first shelter to being on the call list for many shelters and many rescues in New England. I also teach classes, as you know, at Telling Tales Training Center in East Conway.
And a variety of classes there.
Beginner, intermediate, advanced. And I also conduct, the majority of my business is in-home private consultations for people that want a little one-on-one love in the home, in the yard, in the neighborhood, and meeting in neutral locations.
And the one-on-one love is it's more than just an hour with Greg. You're there for quite a while, and you're working to make the human and the canine better.
That's right. Most clients typically have 2 to 3 sessions spread across 2 to 3 week intervals from each, and we stay in touch on the phone. I am one of those behavior practitioners that likes to stay engaged with my clients, and part of my service fee to the client base is they have access to me for the life of the dog after the sessions, because I like to stay involved and see how the dog is evolving, see how the human is evolving. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and you specialize in helping families solve challenging behavior problems using modern science-based training.
Correct. That is exactly right. So one of the more common labels or traits that we use is I specialize in complex behavior cases such as any and all aggression cases, reactivity, separation anxiety, phobias, what's called predatory behavior sequencing, or better known prey drive, and ad infinitum. I go real deep and wide in a lot of complex areas, and it's amazing to see the change when the human does the work. It's incredible.
Light bulb moments for both the human and the dog.
It really, really is, and that's where I find the love for it, when you see the change in both the human and the canine.
I mean, we've taken, I think, 3 or 4 classes with you, and
Correct.
Quincy just evolved so much over the winter. I mean, You were gone off doing your other passion, snowmobiling for the winter.
Correct.
And when you came back, you said, this is a different dog. And we noticed he was a different dog.
That is so
We
true.
thought we were over our head, an advanced handler, and with me handling instead of Lynn, I thought, oh my God, I'm in trouble.
You did fantastic. You're doing fantastic. The change was quite noticeable, and that's what warms my heart. This is exactly why I do what I do. When I saw Quincy, using him as one of many examples, and my love of him, it was amazing to see the change. And when you started handling him, how well you did too. And I'm not just saying that.
Well, I think he took pity on me, maybe a little bit. And we were always trying to get a little bit out of Greg's sight line, so he couldn't see us if Quincy was misbehaving.
You do good. You do good. You do better than I think you realize.
I'm very lucky. You're too kind, my friend. So let's look at some photos, and you want to talk a little bit about some photos?
Absolutely.
Some of the classes we've been doing. Rachel took some great photos in North Conway Schuler Park, and this class is called Out and About?
Correct. This is Out and About, and it's literally what it states. It's being out and about in a public environment. There's a lot of stimuli, a lot of environmental stimuli, or to use a technical term, a lot of independent variables. So we work with the handler for them to be cognizant of the environment, the stimuli, and how to establish a deep connection, communication, collaboration with the dog in the presence of stimuli. So we teach a lot of replacement behaviors. They're called incompatible, alternative, or other behaviors, followed by different types of reinforcement. Different types of reinforcements for appropriate behavior can be the delivery of a treat, verbal praise, a rub under the chin.
Yeah.
If you're in the privacy of your own home or yard or some environment where there's not a lot of stimuli, other types of reinforcement can be a ball toss, a tug toy, a little bit of play, or even just freedom for the dog.
So, in Out and About, is that an advanced class or?
It's intermediate to advanced.
Is it? Okay.
Most people come to the class after having taken beginner class, intermediate
some
class.
foundation.
They've got some foundation, but their dog still gets what we call over-aroused around stimuli. So this last class was a series of 4. So we start off at the Telling Tales Training Center, low stimuli, and then we go to the second week to an environment.
I love this photo.
Me too, it's pretty.
It is.
The second week we go to an environment that has a little more stimuli. Then the third week we go where there's more stimuli, and then the fourth week, this is pretty busy. This is Schuler Park in North Conway. So there's a lot of activity that we can't see in the picture, but you can see if you look at the handler and the canines, they're at a point right now where they're just being dogs, and this is what we look for.
And that's one of the things that you always say, let them be a dog. I'm okay, let them sniff if they need to sniff.
Absolutely. We're not trying to create machines or robots. We do want to replace inappropriate behavior with appropriate behavior, but we also want them to be a dog.
And they're so close together, Greg.
They are. And
that's a big group.
In the very beginning, during beginner classes, which we call 101, or intermediate, which we call 102, these dogs typically can't get this close. So my hat's off to the handlers in doing the work.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... And then this is, there's Briar and Beth.
That's correct.
From one of our, we weren't advanced handler. I think we were Pet Dog 102 here.
Yeah, this is beautiful. We're working on what I call communication, collaboration, connection, and auto check-ins. When a learner, a canine, a dog looks at the guardian or the handler automatically, and it's not prompted, that is very, very powerful. So that is textbook with Briar looking at Beth, and this is a beautiful sit with a watch, and it's a sustained sit and a sustained watch. So we're working on self-regulation, self-modulation, or a better known term is impulse control.
Malcolm, he was a support jockey like me back then, back in the day.
This is beautiful. And Briar's looking at about 6 or 7 other teams in the training center, and this is just beautiful for me to see the transition she's gone through.
Yeah, and we do about seven weeks of class, or 6 or 7 weeks of class. And one thing that's always stuck with me, Greg, is you've said I only get you for an hour a week, but you've got 1,000 hours each week where you could do something with your dog, and it just really hits home.
Over the course of 6 weeks, there's over 1,000 hours for the students to work with the handlers. I only get 6 hours over 6 weeks. So I really try to get right down to brass tacks and teach everything that I can without overwhelming the students, without overwhelming the clients. And the onus is on them to work with the dog. And what I have found through the years is the majority of handlers that take classes do go and do the work during the week because they know they're coming back the following
Absolutely,
week.
yeah. And you always start out the class with any successes and anything that troubled you a little bit.
Exactly.
Things that we can work on. So, and it's nice to hear other people have similar problems. I don't mean that in a negative way, but it
Right.
just lets you know that you're not alone.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I like to foster that. I want everybody to feel like they're family, their friends in the classes. And I think going around the horn in the beginning of each class and just talking about what were your observations, what worked well, what didn't, and letting everybody else hear the answers to those issues helps everyone.
Yeah, it really does. And your goal is very simple, to help dogs live better lives and give their families the knowledge and confidence they need to succeed together.
That's exactly right.
That's just a great bond there.
That's exactly right. That's the goal, just to get everybody to walk together, work together in unison, including all family members too.
Yeah, I mean, we got some more images here, and
Yeah, this is an awesome one. I love teaching this. This is greetings. We as humans typically greet dogs incorrectly.
it's always on top of the head, I thought, but no.
What happens is a human being, a stranger, will see a beautiful dog like this dog and be out in a public forum and say, wow, what a beautiful dog. Can I greet your dog? Number one, the dog doesn't know the person. They're vocalizing, so that's trigger number one. Trigger number two is they start walking straight towards the dog. Trigger number three is they start leaning over and towering. Trigger number four is they extend their hand for the dog to sniff or to pat them on the head, which is trigger number five. No, and that's called trigger stacking. No wonder dogs bite human beings.
Yeah.
So what I'm teaching here is the handler and the dog approach the stranger, in this case Greg the trainer, and we come slowly under the chin. So this is called say hello 1, 2, 3. And what you don't see here is what happens before the dog and the handler are sitting calmly in front of me. So this is a protocol I love to teach, and it helps the handlers understand how to instruct the stranger on what a greeting should look like.
Yeah.
This is mat work. What you don't see is what I call mobility and proximity exercises. The dogs are very close together. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of closeness. And what we're doing is working on the dog having attention and connection with the handler in the presence of stimuli. This is prepping students for becoming a facilities dog or a therapy dog. This is just simply reading to dogs. We have some classes that we get even closer and closer, and the dogs are sitting down right next to each other, and we sit in the middle and we read to them so that if they do go into a school, they're very familiar with that environment.
There's Lynn and Quincy.
Lynn and Quincy.
Not quite doing it the right way, but
no, if you think about it, he's doing perfect. I, as the quote-unquote stranger, he is focused on Lynn and not me. That is a beautiful way to greet a stranger. Connection to the handler, in this case Lynn, and he certainly knows I'm there.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. So I'm giving him a nice soft rub. This is Quincy saying, you know what, I need a little break. This is something I love to teach in our classes. 60 minutes nonstop is a lot for the human and certainly a lot for the dog. So I always weave in 2 to 3 relaxation protocols inclusive of massage. And the reason I like to do this is it'll bring the dog way, way down.
It does. It's remarkable.
And release feel-good hormones. And the reason I like to do the massage too is to better prepare the dogs for when they go to the vet or the groomer. So we instruct during this relaxation protocol light massage, minimal vocalization, and the handlers, the students, will run their fingers over the ears and the eyes and the nose and the mouth. The chest, the legs, the webbing, the paws, the nails, underbelly, rear end, and back over the top. And again, that way when they go to the vet and groomers are accustomed to touch.
And again, I marveled. I think we had a class a couple of weeks ago where you told us to get all their energy out early before you come to class because we're going to do mat work. And traditionally, when we start class, we do a little bit of walking and just to get the dog's blood flowing and just build up some momentum, and then we bring them down a little bit. And we didn't start out the class with that. We went right to mat work, and all of the dogs were a little amped up, I would say.
Yeah, and I actually appreciate you bringing that up. Typically, we do warm-ups, and that's to get the dog in a thinking and learning zone. That's also to look at Quincy jumping up. He's all excited.
I know.
So what I did...
Bad example right there.
No, this is good.
But you were great.
This is good to see. So that's called an inappropriate behavior. We don't want him doing that. So what you don't see is me taking a step back, and I'm simply putting up my hand like this and saying, not it, and then I immediately follow that with I want you sitting. So one of the key things I like to teach is we use a soft interrupter, not it, and then we immediately show the dog what we want them to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, no, knock it off, cut it out.
Way too many words, and the dog's
Way too many words, and that just continues to excite the dog. We just use a soft interrupter, and then we show the dog exactly what we want them to do. And look at this. This is beautiful.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Eye contact, unprompted. That's called an auto check-in. Very powerful.
I don't get as many auto check-ins as I would like to get, Craig, when Quincy and I are on our out and about walks.
Well, being outside, and if it's the first walk of the day, what's more reinforcing?
Yeah.
The environment or dad?
Yeah, and ideally, you'd like our dogs to exercise 2 or 3 or 4 times a day?
Yeah, please. The scientists and behavior experts teach us that all dogs need to get their heart rate up aerobically 1 to 2 to 3 times a day. And the reason for that is to lessen over-arousal tendencies, stabilize mood, and instill confidence and better prepare the dog for training. I always build in a waiver that we need to use common sense. We don't bring them out when it's 120 degrees. We don't bring them out when it's 30 below.
No.
We're cognizant if they're a puppy or a senior or geriatric dog. So common sense when it comes to 1 to 2 to 3 times a day. And I also like to teach my students and clients to bring their dogs to different venues. A walk around the block is wonderful, but in most cases, not all. That's just not enough aerobic activity.
And you also recommend them giving your dog some sort of a reward, like a Kong or something?
Yes, so under what I call the 5 core principles, we have aerobic activity.
Yeah, let's talk about those core principles.
The second one is mental enrichment. It can be a frozen Kong. It can be a dog puzzle, a dog game, amateur scent work, find me, what we call scatter feeding, taking a handful, 3, 4, 5 half-size pieces of Cheerios and throwing them in the grass, and let them be a dog. Let them scent, search, seek, and consume. So aerobic activity, mental enrichment, relaxation / massage, proper socialization, successful socialization, and of course sprinkling in training and behavior change throughout each day and night.
That's great. And we got a few more here. It's like the Lynn and Quincy show. I put a few too many Quincy photos.
No, this is good. This is duration work. This is sustained eye contact. Again, self-regulation, self-modulation, better known as impulse control. And look at that. That is textbook.
Oh, we're looking, yeah. And here I was like, oh, God, another dog coming by Quincy. This isn't going to go well, but it worked out pretty well. Lynn kept his attention. And
so this is the mobility and proximity. We've got teams walking about very, very close to the dogs that are lying down on a mat. And my back is to Lynn. If I would have saw her, I would have said, please stand up so that after 6 weeks of classes, you don't walk out and say, my back is killing me. But she's doing good.
And then this was just last week, I think. This is advanced handler class. And
correct.
This is Dr. I forget.
Allen.
Dr. Allen, yeah.
And this is Izzy,
Yeah.
and his wife, who you can't see, Julie, is there with Molly. If you take a look, there's some medical equipment. A lot of the students are coming up from beginner, intermediate, advanced, and going into therapy or facilities. So we start introducing medical equipment as well.
Yeah.
So this is more mat work.
And Izzy was a little overzealous greeter, that Alan said, and you in just the course of about 5 or 10 minutes corrected that.
We worked through the protocol,
Yeah.
again called Say Hello, 1, 2, 3, and Izzy did great. Alan did great.
Yeah.
So he's getting ready to do the Say Hello, 1, 2, 3. And the protocol is he walks in an arc to me. He'll walk to the left. He'll stop halfway. He'll ask for a sit, a look at me. And then he'll literally take one step with his right foot while swinging his right arm, say hello, and then he walks up to me, asks for a sit, asks for a look at me, and then he looks to me, the stranger, and says, please come in under the chin gently. And then 1, 2, 3, and out.
That's awesome.
Very successful greeting.
Yeah. And it's a fun group, this is. They're all very, very much in love with their dogs.
Absolutely. And everyone works really, really hard. It didn't start this way.
No, no, it sure didn't. No, but it's great fun.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I found my passion in retirement.
You really have found your calling, I think.
I love it.
I mean, it works
And I found out that I love to study too.
Yeah.
Come a long way since high school.
Have you really? What else? I was going to say, do you have a favorite success story? Is there one dog that really stands out in your mind?
Wow, I can't believe you're asking me this. I hadn't thought of that. Yes, I do. Very early in the beginning, working with one of the local shelters after getting a good, solid foundation in education and skill work, there was discussion of the E word, euthanasia for a dog at a local shelter, and I was called in and couldn't approach the dog, so I went and sat outside the kennel, starting at a distance, 5 to 6 times, and each time I went, I got a little closer, a little closer, a little closer to where I could lean up against the kennel with my back to the dog, and the dog right here, and just would slowly start feeding the dog, and that led into session number 7, 8, 9, 10, slowly opening the kennel and going into the kennel, and then slowly taking the dog out and working with the dog on walking and sitting and loose leash walking and auto check-ins and just developing that connection, communication, collaboration, and preparing the dog for adoption. And the folks that put in an application for him came 5 to 6 times, and we repeated that sequence. And I was there each time. They did a beautiful job. They were totally committed. And then I followed them home, and we walked in the neighborhood, we walked in the yard, then we walked in the house, and they had a good understanding of exactly what to do. And the dog and the family have lived a beautiful life together. That is one story that resonates with me. And there's been many. It does. And that's why I do what I do. There's many stories since then, but that was the very first success story, going from discussion about possibility of euthanasia to living a beautiful life.
And a lot of that was just the dog was just getting the wrong cues maybe, and then the people who were dealing with the dog just got frustrated and just gave up on the dog, and you never gave up.
That's a great question, because what it really comes down to is, was the dog properly socialized from birth to that all-important 8, 10, 12, and in some cases 16 weeks? And 9 times out of 10, they haven't been properly socialized, so we're always playing catch-up. So we call it what's been going on in the environment, what's the behavior and reinforcement history been, and we simply understand what's going on within the dog, and then we work on trying to bring about change. And that's where these deep advanced technical educations and certifications come in real handy.
You got a huge tool belt.
Huge tool belt, huge toolbox, and we can all work continuously to deepen and widen it, and I'm totally into that.
Yeah. Has there, Greg, ever been a case where if you knew what you know now, you may have handled things differently with a dog in the past?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do what we can with what we have, and we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is from a viewer. Let's just say Lynn. What is the most common mistake people make when training a dog?
I love this one. One of the more common ones is the repeating of vocal instruction. I teach everyone to give either a hand signal, arm signal once, or a vocal cue once, and wait 5 to 7 seconds before they give another cue. Most people will, in the case of teaching sit, will say sit, sit, Fido, sit. I said sit, 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 and the dog finally sits. We just taught the dog that the dog doesn't need to sit until 5 or 6 times. When teaching sit, believe it or not, we actually use a hand signal in the beginning, because dogs don't come out of the womb understanding English, but they're experts at physical cues, visual cues. A more common label is body language.
Oh, that's good. And then, what is the most common behavior problem you encounter with dogs?
Separation anxiety after COVID has been one of the more common ones.
Is that a tough barrier to break down?
Shockingly, no. The prognosis is good. The challenge is, can the handler or family members invest the amount of time to bring about change when it comes to separation anxiety? And that's the challenging part. But if the humans are able to commit the time to the separation anxiety protocol, the prognosis is very, very good. That's one of the more common ones. A higher level general one is under the label or trait of aggression or reactivity. And for any behavior problem, behavior challenge, we have a suite of protocols that we implement that are backed by science.
Can you teach an old dog new tricks?
You can, believe it or not. Dogs are always learning until the day they pass on into doggy heaven.
And you've got a couple of dogs now, right? Who are both shelter dogs, were they?
I do. Their names are Dutton and Bo. They're brothers. They are Lab, Pitty, Roddy, Shar-Pei mixes.
Holy golly.
3 years new. They were found abandoned in Georgia, hiding under a bus. They came to us at plus or minus 18 months old with little to no training. So my wife Kim and I have been working on training and behavior engineering since day one, and we make every day a fun training game day.
I was going to say, they probably had not a lot, they probably needed to be with each other. You couldn't separate them.
Correct.
They had such a bond that you had to take
Correct.
two.
Correct. And how that came about was we fostered them for a week, fell in love with them. They went back to the folks that were watching after them, and then there came another call to foster them. So we fostered them, and it didn't take long for us to put in an application.
Oh, good.
We had lost our 2 previous dogs the summer before within 8 weeks of each other.
Oh my gosh.
So some time had passed, so we were ready, and they were awesome. They're doing great.
That's awesome. And this is from Quincy and Bartlett. What's the biggest misunderstanding people have about dog training?
Not doing the work. It's a magical wave of the wand. You do have to make a commitment to bring about training and behavior engineering, behavior change. To me, an analogy I like to use, it's no different than being a parent of a child. You've got to give guidance, you've got to give direction, and you've got to teach appropriate behaviors. And that's one of the things that I find people misunderstand when they adopt a dog. I think a lot of people have the impression, no fault of their own, I'm going to get a dog and we're going to go walking on a leash, and they forget that a canine is a canine, a human is a human, and you got to meet in the middle. So our job as humans is to politely, positively teach the dog how to behave in our crazy, complex human world.
Yeah, I think you boggled my mind the first day of advanced handler when you told us that we were going to learn. I think it was like 72 different instructions, and I was like, holy golly! But
Yeah, that's a lot. So in the advanced handler class that I teach, we have 72 skills over 16 categories.
yeah,
And sometimes we get through all of them and sometimes we don't. It depends on what the skill set is of the teams. And we work really hard to keep everybody moving along at the right pace.
and then at what age should training begin for the human and the dog?
Right away,
Right away,
whenever that is.
even if you have a puppy.
Absolutely. So if we go to a reputable breeder and we are planning on adopting a dog out of a litter from a well-known certified breeder, we should start meeting with the puppies plus or minus 3 weeks and on. And there's a whole suite of protocols to conduct with the breeder, of course. And then we take the puppy home at 7, 8 weeks, and training should start, handling and training should start very early on, immediately, so that when you do bring the puppy home, there's a connection, there's communication, there's collaboration, and we immediately begin sprinkling training and behavior change throughout each day and night while letting the dog be a dog. We're not trying to create machines or robots, but we're trying to create a well-balanced, emotionally stable canine.
Yeah. Well, now, if someone were considering a shelter dog, what are some of the most important things the potential owner should do in selecting one?
Very, very good question. I think they should go and walk the grounds. I think they should observe the dogs in their kennels. I think they should observe the dogs outside in their X-pens, exercise pens. And if they get a certain feeling or vibe about one, they should have one of the staff members leash up the dog and maybe go for a nice little parallel walk and get a feel, and go 2 to 3 to 4 times and see if it's the right fit.
Yeah, just stay away from the urgent impulse where the first dog that comes up to you and wags its tail, that's the one I'm getting.
That's correct. And because of my work with shelters and rescues, one of the things we've been able to foster through the years is my coming to the facility with someone that's nearing adoption and working with them and a staff member and the dog, so that when they get home, it's not starting from ground zero. They've got some baseline of a foundation. So I think you just got to look for some of the traits that you're looking for, some of the behaviors you're looking for, but you've got to mix it up in the environment. Dogs are very contextual. They'll behave differently in a kennel than they are in the yard, in an exercise pen, and on a walk, and then of course when they get home. So I think it's important for potential adopters to go and spend some time with the dog that they have their eye on, and to invest in training and education. Yeah. These dogs do not come to us Amazoned in through a drone, no. Dropped in a box that has a bow on it with a parachute, and come out holding a leash in their mouth in a sit position. We've got to invest some time and energy into shaping behavior.
Yeah. Now you've got a seminar coming up that's open to the public. It's July 25th at Telling Tales over on East Conway Road. It's from 10 to 11:30 a.m. It's called Aroused to Calm Dog. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can. So again, on Saturday, July 25th at 10, I'm giving a discussion. It's going to be a brief discussion on my part. I'm going to talk about 5 core principles that set the stage for training and behavior change. And then we're going to open up to the audience any and all questions. I want everybody to hear everybody else's questions, and more importantly, hear the answers to everybody's question. I want everybody to network a little bit. Fellow dog lovers are invited. It's going to be very informative, very educational. And if people want to come for an hour to an hour and a half, they can just go to the Telling Tales website and register. The label for the class is Aroused to Calm, but we're going to be talking about everything: aggression, reactivity, separation anxiety, phobias, predatory behavior sequencing, or better known as prey drive. And the list goes on and on and on. We're just not leaving it to those categories, if you will.
Oh, that sounds great. And we're just kind of wrapping up here. Is there anything that I've omitted or anything that you say, Lloyd, let's talk about this? Or
No, I think we're good. I think we covered it all. And for those that are watching, if you want to come and take a class at Telling Tales, myself and many other trainers, we're all certified. We all got deep educations from proper institutes. If anyone wants some private consultation, I and many other trainers at Telling Tales do in-home consultations as well. Just get in touch with me. All my information is on the Telling Tales website.
oh, great. We just got 2 more final great photos that I just wanted to highlight that I really loved. Who's your partner in crime?
So I'm cruising along here with Mr. Dutton.
Oh, he's a handsome dude.
He really, really is.
Big head, so
he's
big
a love
boy.
bug. And I don't know if we have one of his brother, but his brother is a little bit smaller.
Is he black too?
He's black, and they look a lot alike, other than being a little smaller.
And this, it looks like he got taken hostage.
So this is me working with a suite of dogs in an open environment, and right behind me with the purple collar is Prin, and to my right with the green collar is Diamond. Those were our first beautiful pair of dogs, sisters.
Oh my God! So you've gone from sisters to brothers.
Correct. So this is a beautiful picture.
Oh, that's wonderful. Greg, thank you so much for coming on. You got an open invitation to come back anytime.
Thank you
Thoroughly enjoyed
so
it.
much. I thoroughly enjoyed it
We've
too.
learned so much, and I'm sure we'll get viewer questions, and I'll just start compiling a list, and hopefully
Perfect.
we'll come back and do it again. So,
Great.
For Greg Lagios, I'm Lloyd Jones, Rob Struble. Thanks for watching. Distance is your friend, and real quickly, distance is your friend is a phrase Greg uses a lot, and it's so true.
Distance is your friend, real quickly, means if your dog is pulling, lunging, barking, growling, they're most likely asking for what we call escape, avoidance, distance seeking. It comes out in defensive responding. So we want to give them the distance they need before they bark, lunge, growl, or snarl. So distance is your friend. Set your dog up for success. Be at the right distance away from stimuli. Implement appropriate behavior and reinforce, and that's how you bring about change.
Perfect. For Greg, Lloyd, and Rob, thanks for watching. Everyone, love your dogs. You killed it.